Commander Jace Rowan sat quietly in the small room on the starship Endeavor. The walls were plain, and the hum of the ship's engines filled the air. Outside the window, stars streaked past as the ship traveled faster than light. Jace was heading to the galactic summit on the planet Zenthra, a meeting that would change his life and maybe the future of humanity. Jace was not a king or a rich man. He was just a soldier and a diplomat from Earth. Humans were new in the galaxy. Many alien races had been exploring space for thousands of years, but humans had only joined the galactic community a few decades ago. Other species often looked down on humans, calling them wild, simple, or even dangerous. But Jace knew humans had something special: courage and heart. The Galactic Summit was a chance for all the great alien empires to meet in one place. They talked about peace, trade, and rules for the galaxy. Earth had never been invited before. This time something had changed. The Carol Empire, led by the powerful Queen Vetara, had asked for Jace to come. Jace felt nervous. He was not sure why the Carol wanted to meet a human. He'd heard stories about the Carol. They were tall, with green, scaly skin, and eyes like burning gold. They were strong and proud. Their queen was known for her sharp mind and firm rule. When Jace arrived at Zenthra, he was amazed. The planet was beautiful, with huge crystal towers and green forests under a purple sky. The other alien delegates looked at him with curiosity or doubt. Jace felt small among the towering creatures from many worlds. The hall for the summit was enormous. Aliens from many species filled the seats. Some looked like machines, others had wings, and some had many arms. At the center was the throne of Queen Vetara. She sat tall and calm, wearing robes that shimmered like stars. Beside the queen stood a young woman, Princess Sailari. She looked different from the others. Her eyes were bright and curious. She watched Jace closely. The summit began with speeches. Aliens talked about wars and distant systems, about trade routes, and about strange new planets. Jace listened, learning quickly. Then the queen spoke. Her voice was deep and clear, echoing in the hall. This summit is a chance for peace and growth. But I must make an announcement that will surprise many. The room went silent. Queen Vetara looked directly at Jace. Human, my daughter chooses you. The words shocked everyone. Jace froze. The princess smiled softly, but did not look away. Whispers filled the room. Some aliens gasped. Others laughed in disbelief. To choose a human as a partner was almost unthinkable. Many had never seen a human. Before Jace's heart pounded, he did not understand. Was this a joke? A test? Or something real? Queen Vetara raised her hand for silence. This is no joke. My daughter and I believe that humanity holds great potential. This choice is both a personal honor and a political step forward. Together, we can build a new future. The room buzzed. With excitement and anger, some delegates stood and protested. This breaks our traditions, they shouted. Others called it madness. Jace looked at Sailari. She nodded at him, her eyes full of hope. The queen continued. We invite Commander Jace Rowan to visit the Carol Empire, to learn our ways and decide if he is worthy of joining our family. Jace felt the weight of the moment. This was bigger than him, bigger than Earth. He bowed his head and said quietly, I accept. The crowd fell silent again. Some were shocked, others surprised. A human accepting such an offer was bold. That night Jace could not sleep. He thought about his home, about his family, and about the strange future ahead. He wondered what the princess was really like and what challenges awaited him. The next day, he met Sailari in a garden under glowing blue trees. She smiled and said, I know this is hard, but I see in you something different. Not just courage, but kindness and strength. Jace smiled back. I want to learn. I want to prove that humans can be more than what others think. Together, they walked through the gardens, talking about their worlds. Sailari spoke of her people's history and their dreams. Jace shared stories of Earth, its struggles and hopes. As the days passed, Jace and Sailari grew closer. But outside, tensions rose. Many aliens did not want a human in the Carol court. Some sent spies to watch Jace. Others planned to stop the Union before it began. Jace knew that accepting the Queen's offer was only the first step. The real journey was just beginning. Commander Jace Rowan stood on the deck of the Carroll Royal cruiser Seraphes. Outside the wide windows, stars and nebulae painted the dark sky with splashes of color. The cruiser was huge, with sharp lines and shining metal, a symbol of the Carroll Empire's power. Jace was both honored and nervous. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. "My daughter chooses you." That was no small thing. It meant he was invited not just as a guest, but as a potential partner to Princess Salari, and an important part of Carell's future. The princess was nearby, quietly watching the stars. She was different from anyone Jace had ever met. Brave, clever, and with a fire in her eyes. Salari had a plan. She wanted to change her people's old ways and build a new future where humans and Carroll could stand together. But not everyone agreed. Many nobles on the cruiser whispered behind closed doors. Some did not trust a human to join their royal family. They saw humans as unpredictable and weak. To them, Jace was a threat, a stranger who could upset the balance of power. Jace knew the danger, but he did not show fear. He spent his time learning about the Carroll culture, studied their history, their language, and their customs. Salari helped him, teaching him the secret meanings behind their ancient symbols and stories. One night, as the cruiser traveled through hyperspace, alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flashed. The peaceful hum of the ship was broken by urgent voices. "Commander Rowan, we have detected an attack." One officer shouted. Jace rushed to the command center. The screen showed another ship, a sleek black warship, moving fast toward the Seraphes. The enemy had come to stop the Union before it could happen. The attackers were from the Zartal Confederacy, an old rival of the Carroll Empire. They hated the idea of humans gaining power. The Zartal saw humans as wild animals and wanted to keep them weak and divided. Jace knew this fight was not just about him. It was about the future of two races, about peace and trust. The ship shook as the Zartal opened fire. Energy blasts hit the shields of the Seraphes, causing sparks and alarms. "Commander, we need a plan," the captain cried. Jace's mind raced. He ordered the crew to raise the shields and prepare the defense cannons. The Seraphes was not built for battle. It was a royal ship, meant for diplomacy, not war. Jace took Salari's hand. "Stay close," he said.
I will.
"Protect you." The princess nodded, calm but ready. The Zartal ship fired again, breaking through the shields and hitting the cruiser's engine room. The Seraphes slowed and began to drift. "We are losing power," the captain said. Jace knew time was running out. He gathered a small team and prepared to board the enemy ship. It was a risky move. The Zartal were fierce warriors. The enemy ship was armed to the teeth. The boarding shuttle moved fast and silent. Jace's heart pounded as they landed inside the dark ship. They fought through narrow halls filled with smoke and danger. Jace's team used their weapons and wits, slowly making their way to the engine core. Suddenly, Zartal commander appeared, blocking their path. He was large and fierce, his eyes burning with hatred. Jace stepped forward. "This fight is not just for us. It's for the future of our peoples. I will not let you destroy that future." The battle was fierce. Jace fought with all his strength, using every skill he had learned on Earth and from his training. The Zartal commander was strong, but Jace's determination was stronger. With a final move, Jace disarmed the enemy and secured the engine core. The Zartal ship began to lose power. Back on the Seraphes, the engines roared to life again. The cruiser moved away from danger. Shields repaired. Jay returned to the princess. "We are safe for now," he said. "But this is only the beginning." Salari looked at him with respect. "You saved my life and the future of my people. You are more than a guest. You are a part of us now." But even as they spoke, shadows moved in the corridors. Spies and traitors lurked, watching and waiting. The union between human and Carroll was a beacon of hope, a target for those who wanted to keep the galaxy divided. Jace knew the road ahead would be difficult. There would be more dangers, more tests of courage and trust. but he was ready. For his home, for Sailory, and for the future they could build together. The planet Tyricon was known throughout the galaxy as a place of ancient traditions and deep power. It was where those who wished to join the royal family of the Kirel Empire had to prove their worth. The trials of unity were not just tests of strength, but of spirit, wisdom, and heart. Commander Jace Rowan stepped off the royal cruiser onto the rocky surface of Tyrocon. The air was thin and sharp, and the sky was a deep red, with two suns shining down around him. The great stone pillars of the ancient arena stood tall. Worn by centuries of storms and ceremony, Jace was nervous, but determined. He knew the trials were dangerous. Many suitors from other species had tried and failed, some even died. But this was his chance to show that humanity was worthy of standing beside the Kirel. Princess Solari walked beside him. Remember, Jace, the trials test more than strength. Use your mind, your heart. You are not just fighting. You are proving who you are. Jace nodded. I will not let you down. The first trial was the trial of strength. The challengers faced massive stone guardians, ancient machines built by the Kirel ancestors. They moved with power and speed, crushing anything that dared to fight them. Jace watched the others step forward, trying to smash the guardians with brute force. Many were knocked down, some badly injured. When it was his turn, Jace did not rush. He studied the machine's movements, watching for patterns. Then, using his agility and quick thinking, he dodged attacks and struck at weak points. Instead of fighting with raw power, he used precision and timing. The guardians fell one by one. The crowd murmured. A human using cleverness instead of strength. It was unusual, but effective. The second trial was the trial of spirit. Jace and the other suitors were led to a deep cave filled with shifting illusions. The challenge was to face their greatest fears and doubts, and come out unbroken. Jace walked into the darkness, feeling the cold air close around him. Visions appeared, shadows of his past failures, images of those he could not save, and voices. Questioning his worth, he felt his heart tighten, but remembered Salari's words. He took a deep breath and spoke softly to himself. I am more than my fears. I am here to protect and to grow. The visions faded, replaced by calm light. Jace walked out of the cave, stronger than before. The third trial was the trial of wisdom. The challengers faced riddles and puzzles left by the ancient Kirel sages. Only those who could think deeply and understand the old knowledge could pass. Jace struggled at first. The Kirel language was complex, and the puzzles were unlike anything he had seen. But Sailory had taught him secret hints, clues hidden. In their legends, with patience and thought, Jace solved the riddles. The crowd cheered. It was clear he was no ordinary human. But the trials were not over. The final trial was the trial of unity, a test to prove that the Chosen One could connect with the Kirel people and their values. It was a ceremony filled with ancient magic, and a sacred drink called the Elixir of Bonds. Jace was led to a great hall where the queen, nobles, and many Kirel citizens waited. The elixir was passed to him. Drinking it would create a bond between him and the Kirel. But it was also dangerous if his heart was not pure. The elixir could harm him. Jace raised the cup and drank slowly. Warmth spread through his body. He felt the presence of his ancestors and the strength of the Kirel people. Suddenly he collapsed. The hall gasped. Jace's face turned pale. He struggled to breathe. Salary rushed to his side. Something is wrong, she cried. The queen stood, her face serious. The elixir has been poisoned. Chaos broke out. Guards searched the hall for the traitor. Jace lay weak but conscious. He looked at Solari. I won't fail now, he whispered. The queen ordered the trial to stop. She promised to find the one behind this betrayal. Jace knew that the trials had tested more than his skills. They had revealed the danger hidden within the Empire. But he also knew that with Solari's help, he could face whatever came next. The trials of unity had begun, and so had a new chapter for humans and Kirel alike. The halls of the Kirel Palace buzzed with tension and whispers. After the poisoning during the trial of Unity, no one felt safe. Queen Vetara sat in her great chamber, her face cold but determined. She looked at Commander Jace Rowan, who was still weak but slowly recovering. "We will find the traitor," the Queen promised. "But this attack is bigger than just one person's hatred. It is a threat to the entire Empire, to the future we want to build with humanity." Jace nodded. He had seen the fear and anger in the eyes of the nobles. Some wanted to keep things the same old rules, old power. But others, like Salari and the Queen, dreamed of change. Outside the palace, ships from the Zartel Confederacy and other hostile empires gathered. They did not want the Human-Carol Alliance to succeed. They feared what humans represented: courage, unpredictability, and a new way of thinking. News spread quickly. Systems loyal to the Queen began to prepare for war. But not everyone was ready to fight. Many worlds hesitated, unsure of which side to choose. Jace stood on the balcony, looking at the stars. "We must show them that humans and Corel together are stronger than fear," he said softly. Salari joined him. "I agree, but words are not enough. We need allies, and we need a plan." Queen Vetara called a secret meeting of trusted leaders. Among them were humans, Carol, and representatives from newer alien species impressed by humanity's spirit. The Queen said, "The galaxy is changing. Those who refuse to adapt will fall. We must unite and fight for a future where all races have a place." Jay spoke next. "Our strength is not just in weapons. It is in our courage and in standing together. I will lead a team to strike at the enemy's heart, their flagship." The plan was risky. Enemy flagship was heavily guarded, deep in enemy space. But if they could disable it, the enemy's forces might lose their will to fight. As the fleet gathered, Jace trained a strike team. There were humans and aliens who believed in the Alliance. Jace taught them how humans think, to be creative, to never give up. The day of battle arrived. The sky above the Carol homeworld filled with warships, both friend and foe. Energy blasts lit the dark space as ships moved quickly, trying to outmaneuver each other. Jace and his team boarded a small attack vessel, the Phoenix. Their mission was clear: get to the enemy flagship, disable its weapons, and return. The flight was tense. Enemy fighters chased them, and the Phoenix shook under heavy fire. But Jace's team worked together, using both technology and human ingenuity to escape traps. Finally, they reached the flagship. Jace's heart pounded as they docked and entered the ship. Inside, the enemy was ready. Guards attacked fiercely, but Jace and his team fought bravely. Jace led the charge using quick moves and smart tactics. They reached the control room, where the ship's weapons were controlled. Jace hacked the system, shutting down the guns one by one. But an enemy commander appeared, blocking their way. He was tall and cruel, a symbol of the old powers fighting to stay alive. Jace faced him without fear. "Your time is over," he said. The battle was fierce, but Jace's determination won. The commander fell. With the flagship disabled, the enemy fleet lost coordination. The Carol and their allies pressed the attack, forcing the enemy to retreat. The galaxy watched as a new power rose, humans and Corel united. But victory came with cost. Many ships were lost, and Jace was injured badly during the fight. As he was carried back to the Carol capital, he thought about what lay ahead. "Queen." Vetara greeted him with pride. "You have done more than I hoped. You've changed the course of history." Salari held his hand, her eyes shining with hope. "This is just the beginning. Together we will build a better future." Jace smiled, knowing the fight was far from over, but for the first time, he felt humanity's place among the stars, not as outsiders, but as equals. The great hall of the Galactic Council was filled with beings from countless worlds. The room buzzed with voices and the soft glow of alien technology. For the first time, Earth had a seat here, and Commander Jace Rowan was at its center. Months had passed since the fierce battle that had reshaped the galaxy. Jace's injuries had healed, but the memories of the fight remained fresh. He had led the strike that crippled the enemy flagship, turning the tide of war. Now the time had come to build peace, Queen Vetara sat beside him, regal and proud. Princess Sailari was near, her bright eyes filled with hope. Together, they represented a new alliance, one born from courage, trust, and shared dreams. The Galactic Council had long been ruled by ancient empires who guarded their power jealously. They had resisted change, fearing the rise of new races, like humans. But the war had shown that strength came in many forms. Jace rose to speak. His voice was calm, but strong. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders. We must learn from one another and grow together. Humanity is ready to stand as equals, not as conquerors, but as friends. Some delegates listened quietly, others still doubted, but many nodded, seeing the truth in his words. After the meeting, Jace walked with Sailori through the marble corridors. "We did not rush into marriage," she said softly. "Our union is not just between two people, but between two worlds." Jace smiled. "That is the future I want. A future built on respect and understanding." News spread quickly across the stars. Humans were no longer seen as wild newcomers, but as a people of strength and honor. Trade routes opened, new alliances formed, and old rivalries softened. Back on Earth, people watched the news with pride. They saw one of their own standing among the galaxy's greatest. Jace's journey had become a symbol of hope for all humanity, but challenges remained. Not all races accepted the new order. Some plotted in shadows, seeking to return the galaxy to the old ways. Jace and Sailari knew their work was not done. Together, they planned missions to visit distant worlds, to build trust and solve conflicts before they turned to war. They opened schools and cultural centers, sharing knowledge and traditions. One evening, as they stood under the stars on the Kiral homeworld, Sailari took Jace's hand. "You have changed our people and many others. You showed that greatness is not in blood, but in heart." Jace looked up at the sky. "We are all part of something bigger now, a galaxy where every voice matters." Stars shone bright, as if welcoming the new era. And so, humanity's story among the stars had truly begun, not as conquerors or outsiders, but as equals. And Jace Rowan, once a simple commander from Earth, had led the way.